I don't know about you guys, but it does feel like Chaos Reigns, as far as Mortal Kombat's perspective, is finally unpacked and finished. Yes, we do have some guest characters coming, but without the addition of cameos, Mortal Kombat in itself seems pretty finished until year 3. Again, unless we're gonna get more Mortal Kombat characters or Mortal Kombat cameos, just having guest characters hold us by until year 3 isn't gonna be fulfilling enough. What I want to do with you right now is go over some of the characters that have for sure been hinted at being in Mortal Kombat that we haven't got yet, and characters that have been most likely assumed to be in Kombat Pack 3. Some characters do seem more likely than others, and then I also am going to share my opinion on whether I'd like to see that character in there or not, and characters of my own that I would like to see in here too. Let's start with Cassie Cage, and there's a few ways that characters made it onto this list. 1, they have either been seen in the data files, or 2, they are mentioned in the intro character dialogues. I think Cassie Cage is a mixed bag, like a heads and tails for Mortal Kombat fans. And whether you want to see her and whether you don't want to see her, either one's fine. I'm going to share my take on it. I like Cassie Cage a lot. She's witty. She gets it from her dad JC. I'd really like to see Cassie Cage in MK1. Do I think they'll bring all the combat kids in MK1? It depends how far they're going to go with all this DLC. I do think it's possible because there's some other ones on here too that have been hinted at. But we already have Sonya on the cameo roster. I'd really like to see Cassie on main roster if we get her. And if Mortal Kombat 1 does decide to add more story to Takeda, because right now they really haven't given him anything, but he's already in the game, I think the introduction of Cassie would be great. That way for Takeda, there's more world building alongside with Kenshi. And now you'll have Cassie Cage too. It also makes sense for the story too if MK1 does decide to put more story into the characters that's already here. I wasn't a big fan that they put story on some of the Chaos Reigns characters from other realms that we're really not going to see again. However, if they bring it back to home base, say we get more story on Takeda this time, or any story for that matter, because Takeda didn't really get any in this game. So this really could bring a full alliance of characters into the game now that's fresh, because now we would have Kenshi and Jax from the story, or any story for that matter, because Takeda didn't really get any in this game. So as far as Cassie, I'll leave her there. I think she would be a great character for this game. She's been a lot of fun in the past 2 games. Is the story necessary? No. Would it be cool? Absolutely. The next character on the list is Harumi, and I gotta say, I think that this one is a given. Really, as long as NRS keeps doing their job, Harumi should be out at any time. When? I'm not sure, but the face model herself accidentally spilled the beans a while back. What she didn't confirm is when her release date was, but she said it herself. She was excited to be the female Scorpion. If you weren't around for it when that leaked, it was a pretty big deal. It made its rounds. And it's not the Harumi that we saw in the wedding from Chaos Reigns, because this Harumi is said to be more like a Spectre. Plus, she admitted how excited she was that she would be playable to everyone. This is a character I look very forward to. It is a new Mortal Kombat character, and this could be one that Ed Boon has been referencing to for a while, saying there'd be a new Mortal Kombat character in the game. When I say that though, I mean brand new as a playable character. I mean that in the sense of her being a playable character for the first time. Of course, Harumi has been around for a long time throughout Mortal Kombat's history. It makes sense why Scorpion has lost his mind so many times. His wife has been lost so many times, usually by Quan Chi. Harumi was a character originally that I never asked for. She's just always been in the stories of Mortal Kombat being slaughtered time and time again, but it's unbelievably wicked and cool now to think that her Scorpion's gonna die in her timeline, and now she's gonna have the vengeance. And I really do think we need that, because the Scorpion we have is okay, he's stoic, but he's not the vengeful kind of Scorpion that I think most of us love and endear. No, Harumi's not Scorpion, and I don't think she's meant to take over Scorpion, but it would be cool to see some of those influences back, while also being able to show that and show off a new character so much that it's an original in itself. So far I have to say Harumi is one of the characters I look forward to the most. And with that being said for her, I just hope they make her more wicked than the one we got for Kuai Liang's wedding Harumi, which I get it. It was the wedding, but I want to see one that's hell-bent and wicked, you know? Now the next one we have is Kung Jin, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of Kung Jin. He probably is like my bottom 10 of Mortal Kombat characters. I don't say that to hurt anyone's feelings. There are people in my Discord, and I know a guy that really loves Kung Jin, so I'm not sitting here to crap on him. However, I'm sure he might be happy to know that there's a chance that he's going to be in Mortal Kombat 1. Kung Jin is a name that has popped up in the files a few times, so there is that to look forward to. That is, fans that want to see Kung Jin in Mortal Kombat 1. 1, he's your archer character. In Mortal Kombat X, he played the archer/thief. He's usually the odd one out when it comes to the combat kids. I think everybody has their combat kid they don't like, and then of course some people that just don't like any of them, and then there are some that love all of them. In what manner we're supposed to get Kung Jin, I'm not sure. I do think he would work good for a cameo though. I do think it'd be cool to whip people around with a staff as knock them out across the screen or shoot arrows out. I've also thought about that for Nightwolf too. Nightwolf has a lot of potential, whether main roster or cameo. If NRS is still going to go with the same names that people have data mined, there's a very good chance this character is going to be in Mortal Kombat 1. Don't hate on me because I'm not a fan of them. I'm sure you have your characters that you don't care for that I love. It's what makes us different. In a good way. However, I would still take him over most of KP1's guest characters, just because in most cases I'm going to choose a Mortal Kombat character over a guest character. KP2 on the other hand, I'll probably keep some of the guest characters over Kung Jin. Future reference, I'll be using a lot of these locations now that I'm using a green screen effect. That is, these spots in Mortal Kombat 1. Anyway, next character we can expect to see in Kombat Pack 3 is Jade. So I've never been like a big crazy Jade fanboy, but I've never disliked Jade. I've never loved Jade, but I like Jade. I found her most desirable and the neatest as a character in the arcade era. Just that mystique of being a different character and super strong. And when she started dating Kotal Khan, I was like, okay. But I still thought she was a cool character even then. I just don't know why she got with Kotal Khan. But no, if we get Jade in Mortal Kombat 1, I think she would fit the roster great. It'd be so cool to finally have Melina, Katana, Jade, and all these ninjas on the same roster. I know, we got Armageddon, but that's decades old now, so let's have it here. I'm sure it's already a tease for a lot of people who love Jade to see Chameleon use her moves periodically and to not be able to use her yet. And the rumor mill was high in the beginning of the game that, ooh, the person who did the voice acting for Jade was visiting NetherRealm Studios, or oh hey, the face model just happened to pass by NRS. There has been some predictions by data miners, but none of them saying as far as we can expect to see Jade in the next Kombat Pack. And then when you really boil it down to the grease and peanuts, it's not a hard sell character. You put Jade out there, a lot of people are going to be super excited to get her. This next one's a 2-for-1 because they fall under the same guidelines by the data miners, and that is, take it with a grain of salt because they did find files with their names on it, but they weren't heavy. That is, Erron Black and Nightwolf. It's weird, part of me wants to say I can see Erron Black on the main roster and on the cameo roster. Then again, Erron Black was already in MKX and MK11 as a sub-character pretty much. Nightwolf is a pretty beloved character too, and barely made it in MK11. At the same time, if we get Nightwolf, are we getting the female mantle that we see at the end of MK11? And of course, those aren't canon, doesn't mean so. But if I had to pick from the two, I would really like to see Nightwolf. I've always been a Nightwolf fan. And yes, I could see him being main roster or cameo. He'd be excellent with his moves as far as a cameo, being able to charge out, being able to use his hatchet, being able to use his bow and arrow. But I just really wouldn't mind seeing him in the main roster again, period. As far as Erron Black, personally, I would like to see him more as a cameo, stepping out to fire shots, trick shots, throwing some sand bombs. But hey, if they did bring him to the main roster, I'd be open to it. I just hope they give him a different design this time. My favorite Erron Black design is the very first concept art of Erron Black. And I'm thinking, man, no, he would have looked great. A dual slinger with a gas mask, that would have been awesome. Or give us the gas mask and the hat. I know I can pick between those two myself, but I feel like that's one that's probably harder for other people. Can you choose between Nightwolf and Erron Black? Now, putting my bias to the side and which ones I think will definitely make it, or at least that have the most chance to make it, are Cassie, Harumi, and Kung Jin. Kombat Pack 3 has some time away. I feel like they have to bring some cameos or something fresh in the meantime before year 3. Again, we're just going to be stuck with guest characters until then, and there's only a few left. I wanted to talk about it a little. Please do like and subscribe. Guys, it means a lot. I've been sick, and now since I'm bouncing back, I've been on a roll uploading videos, so what characters do you want to see in Kombat Pack 3? I'll be doing an update video this week, and I also have some plans to try out some new Mortal Kombat videos as well. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. You're awesome. Much love, everyone. Take care.